How many times did I have to tell you, Frank? You're not God. I am. I have to play a mad scientist in the movie, so it's always helpful to have one around. That's what Paul is to me.
He has a very, very strong personality.
Let me see the beginning again.
He is unbelievable. He knows exactly what he wants.
Bum, 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 and then bum. Something like that. Let me see that again.
The thing about Paul is he's a passionate person.
Yeah?
He reminds me of a kid with autism who keeps hitting his head.
Paul is very intense.
You know that when you're working on a Paul Verhoeven film, nothing is going to be mundane. It's all going to push the boundaries.
It's not that I feel that cannot be done in a different way or look at art or film in this case in a different way, but it comes to me in a natural way, and I always do that.
There's a lot of rumor with Paul. Oh, Paul is a very difficult director. Oh, you have to be very careful with Paul, working with Paul. Ooh, that's a challenge.
It's a monster. He's a monster!
I think it comes from the intensity of Paul. So he doesn't think about what should I do or what do people expect from me. He just rushes into everything.
But at the same time, he's the most collaborative person I've ever worked with. He literally demands your input. If I don't have something to offer him, why am I there?
Yeah, I'll ask him to do this. Let's do another one.
He's very involved in the whole process of filmmaking. He's very much a hands-on director. If he needs somebody to pick up a prop or to do something within the action of the scene, he wants to make sure that it looks correct on film.
Wait a couple of seconds and then slide it in.
He's really specific. I mean, he's really technical, and he and Joost Vakano, the director of photography, work, very in sync together.
I met Paul almost 25 years ago in Holland. When two people know each other so well as we do, then there's a lot of things we don't have to talk about anymore. Very often we just look at each other. Okay, fine. No problem.
That's it.
The director and the cinematographer, they don't have to speak with words so much because they are speaking with images, and you don't have to be so precise with words.
Just wipe through. Yeah, round.
So that was never ever a problem.
He's just got so much energy.
A little more of a push of the body. Make an opening here, you go through. You can get a little bit more this, yeah?
More like Nureyev, but I mean, it's more of a ballet dance, and you have to do your own personal interpretation of it.
With regard to the actors, I think he's very kind on actors. I think he's wonderful with actors. He cajoles them into a performance.
Yeah, I think it's about
When he directs and he tries to let us know what's going on, and because we're working with nothing.
And the ape is really highly agitated, I would say. In the beginning, I'll give you a thing like, yeah, and then you do a little bit like this, and then I'll say, yeah.
And when you see that he's that into it, it's real. We're here. We've come to play. He inspires your performance.
And count.
Not even knowing that he's doing it, he always tries to express himself in a way that he is almost acting. And whenever he talks to the actors, he's already acting something. And sometimes that's a problem because the actors are not used to that, and the actors feel, okay, it's our job to act. He should tell me what to do, but he shouldn't stay in front of me and start acting because I have to feel what I'm doing.
And action! The hit was okay this time, but just do it like this. Don't hit it. Just have your hands here and do like, yeah, like.
Obviously, he does push the boundaries in terms of what his attitude towards violence is.
Paul thinks, and I think he's right in a certain way, that the dark characters are much more interesting. He's much more for the dark underground, to see what's beneath the surface.
Maybe I scared her a little.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
liked it. The dark side of human nature is something that Paul is cognizant of. He's very, very thoughtful, and he's always aware of subtext, and really thinks about that when he approaches a project. And what are the hidden meanings?
He is very much interested in something outstanding, outrageous characters in life.
Quiet! You are a fucking bitch. I try to take these elements out of life that I have detested or admired and put them in a movie, be it violence or sex.
Certainly in terms of sexuality, he pushes the boundaries. Given the chance, Paul is very extreme.
I think there's no why. It's more like, that's the man I am. And and it comes from the inside. It's something that I just do.
See you later.
From the beginning, Paul and I had many discussions and many concerns about not only how to do the digital aspects of creating invisibility, bringing him back and forth, but also the performance aspects.
To make the scenes realistic, to make interaction between Kevin Bacon and the other actors possible, and to make the invisible man still part of the visible world and interacting continuously with the visible world. You needed to have Sebastian Caine, Kevin Bacon on the set, even if he was invisible.
If he is just invisible, okay, I mean, then you can forget the whole film. You see for a moment, there's a shirt and a jacket running around, and that's it. So you have to think about what can we do to make the invisible person visible.
He's visible, but he's not visible like a human being. He's visible because he walks through the smoke, or the water falls on his face, so you would see the head outlined or whatever. So we had to shoot everything with Kevin.
The body language of an actor, it's very expressive, and especially if you cannot see him, it's very much about what he's doing with his body. So that was the reason.
Just the movement of the sheet and the body is very specifically made. It's just a way that really sells the invisibility.
So he could really grab the actors. When he had to strangle them, he would really do it. When he had to fight with them, he could really punch them or grab them and throw them. That it all could be done in a real way.
Having Kevin there added the problem for us of having to get rid of Kevin. How do you get him out of the scene? And so on set, you'd either see Kevin in a black bodysuit, a green bodysuit, blue bodysuit, all dependent on the situation. And we would literally then, later on, take him right out of the scene and replace him with whatever stage of transformation we wished. The green suits are very light efficient. So from a lighting standpoint, they don't take very much work. They glow very quickly. So in most cases, those were the preferable choice, but they wouldn't work well in water.
Because the green would reflect in all the little water drops around. So in that case, you paint everything black. He has a black face. Everything has to be black.
And the green also tended not to work well in the smoke.
When you have a person walking around, but the head is gone. So to take the green head out, that's very simple. Only problem is, if the head is gone, what do we see? We see what's behind the head.
If I would be green, to take me out, that's fine. Then you get, but what do you get? Then you get a black hole, isn't it? Because you don't have the wall behind me. And so to add the wall, I have to repeat the move of the camera without the actor, so I now include the wall into my shot.
So we have to do the same scene twice. Once with the action and once without the action, which just shows the background.
So I can steal the wall from the plate and add it at the area where I took Kevin out of the shot. If it's a scene in the rain, Kevin running through the scene, grabbing a woman, slapping her, or worse. After shooting that shot, and you think, okay, we have 4 or 5 really good takes.
So after we got the first pass, they're talking to each other, they're happy. That's a take, excellent. So now everybody clears the set.
The actors can go back to their trailer. They can have a coffee.
Now, nobody touches the camera anymore. Now the computer works from these recorded moves and moves the camera exactly the same way.
The camera repeats precisely the same, with tracking and tilting and panning and booming up.
So the camera does the exact same move it did originally, but nobody's in the picture. That's the second pass. It's called a clean pass. In addition to that, there would be a lot of element passes.
You redo the scene again with, let's say, rain. So sometimes you have 3, 4, 5 plates on every shot.
And once we have all those passes and the director has made his selects, we would then take those and scan those into our computer. Now we're inside the computer with these frames. The animators come in now and start working on Kevin Bacon's performance. So for them, the first pass is to go in and take our puppet, which is basically a computer version of Kevin Bacon, and run him through his paces.
Kevin is what we would call a performance reference. He'd give us the performance, and we'd go back and we'd match our digital model to him.
That was our initial starting point. The guy's such an excellent actor, why would we want to change anything? So we tried to stick as close to his performance as possible.
It's really on the edge. It's really pushing the envelope in the special effects area very, very much.
Serums are radiated. This better work.
It will.
Oh, yeah?
You want to bet on it?
Well, I think that there are a lot of scenes that I think are very interesting. There's the 3 transformations. The transformation of the gorilla, Sebastian become invisible, and Sebastian trying to come back to visibility with Fitz. These 3 scenes are absolutely marvelous, I think.
I read it, I said, I know this can be done. I know we can do it. I have no idea how we're going to do it.
I actually thought it couldn't be done.
You don't make history by following the rules. You make it by seizing the moment.
I've seen individual layers be worked on, but I've never actually seen a whole human.
I don't think anybody has done this. They built the body like a really mechanical thing. All the tendons and all the muscles are really perfectly attached here and there. So when you move your arms like this, you would see all this swelling, and you would see everything inside rotating, not only the outside, but even if you would look inside, you would see the bones rotating. And if you move the fingers, that's all completely, looks completely real.
I'm starting to feel something.
The live-action character that's in the shot will be used for different purposes depending on the different type of shot. In a case where part of him is transforming away, we'll use a lot of the original Kevin in the plate. And what we'll do is